Hello everybody, welcome back to the Miracle Perspective, and this is the TMP Q&A Wednesday where you ask and I perspectivize. If you're coming here for the first time today, welcome. This is the Miracle Perspective. And if this is a frequent for you, welcome back. Guys, on Wednesdays, we do the TMP Q&A Wednesday. This is where you get an opportunity to ask any question that revolves around human beings. Any question that revolves around relationships, finances, business, workplace dynamics, life in general. Bring them over. I am here with my other people that are always tuning in on the channel. They help us tackle your questions. So please bring those questions along. We really appreciate those questions and we enjoy answering them. Just like today's question. Today's question comes from a lady who's a teacher. And she is like, "Hi TMP, I've heard you speak about the education system recently. I'm a high school teacher and I found your views to be very fascinating, and I admit you have triggered a certain perspective in me, and I have been thinking a lot about this lately. One of the questions that is stuck with me right now is, what is the role of teachers in the education system actually? I know it sounds a bit like a cliche, asking you this as a teacher myself, but I just want to get a better understanding of what really is the role of teachers in schools. I hope you get what I mean. It would be great to hear other people's views on this as well, if possible. Looking forward to this one." Thank you so much for this question. It's a very important question. And other people I got indeed. The first person who rose up to the occasion was Wise. Wise said, "Okay, beautiful question. The role. Okay, the Bible says teach a child from an early age in the ways he should go, so that when he is older, he will not depart from it. So we have a teacher, a child, and a way. Let me start from the last one, which is the ways. This tells us that there is a way in which everyone must go in system. There is a system which has been put in place, generally not biblically only, that governs us, people. Now there comes a teacher. The role of a teacher is to shape the child from an early age so that the child is able to abide by that system. This is in general, not only in school or biblically, but just so I'm in line with the person, there is an educational system which has been put in place that for one to become this or that, you must have studied this or that. So the role of the teacher is to shape or equip that child with the knowledge so that when they are older, they'll be fit enough to follow the system as it was designed. And I think right now the role of a teacher is to teach me how to read." And then we've got Miss Celius. Miss Celius is a lecturer, my former lecturer. She says, "This is one of the most important topics ever that you will discuss. Our children need role models. They each can be an influencer. What do the children need as a framework in which we teach subject knowledge? What examples and guidance do our children need now to help them grow up to be adults who make morally sound, reasonable choices? Help the kids to shape long-term goals for joyful futures. Teachers need support and respect from our communities, and very good salaries that show our appreciation. Government, can you hear that?" Important points there from Basilius. And we've got Sia. Sia said,
Good afternoon, Mr. TMP.
"Good afternoon,
the one
Sia."
and only General. My opinion on this one, man, is that teachers role at school is to educate children mostly about school, about schoolwork, but it's also important to educate kids about life. According to my own side, I would say my teachers from my lower levels of studying, they helped me a lot on how to deal with life and such things. For example, without no parents guidance around me. I grew up one man alone. The only time I saw my parents, it was on December each and every year, ever since 2009, ever since I was 13 years. And then what I've learned a lot from these teachers is that they took me as their child. They helped me on realizing, for example, I learned saving money from school. I was told that at my young age that it's very important to save money, and I would say that that is not from school. It also exists in real life. People, they have to save money, such things, so that they can get where they want to be. Yeah, yeah. So the actual role for teachers is to educate kids about school, or follow the syllabus of the school, and then and educate kids about life. Like, what do you really have to do when you start working? What's exactly that you have to do? I don't know if you get my point, man.
I got you, man. I got you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for sharing your views on this very difficult topic. And all of you said some very fascinating views. And what I liked the most, I liked all of them, but Sia said something very important here and very profound, because Sia mentioned the element of teachers being the imparter of knowledge in terms of what they're teaching you at school, but also taking on the responsibility or the role of teaching lifestyle, teaching you life skills, saving, and all those kind of things. And Mem Celius as well said the same thing. I want us to take it from this point of view. How does child development and education work? How is that system, or how is that process supposed to go? Childhood development is a very difficult and very delicate job. It's very, very, very demanding. The responsibility of taking care of a child from childhood to adulthood is very, very difficult. And I think the job of teachers is very much underrated. In this sense, childhood development starts at home. The fundamental place where this all should start is the family. Family, then the community, then church, then school. All these entities have to work together in developing a child. Problem is, today, as we see the society that we are living in, family is broken. So this level of education is gone. Community messed up. This level of education gone. Church, very questionable. This level of education gone. Only one party and entity is left, and that is the school. And then you have the audacity to go and criticize teachers for teaching your kids rubbish. How dare you? When you have neglected your responsibility of raising your own kids and teaching them fundamental morals in your family, where were you? Guys, I think we are really not appreciating what we should appreciate here. Teachers are fundamentally important to our society because they are the only source of support we have for our children. Most of us, we got our education from our children. I mean, from living life skills in general. We got them from school. At home, there was none. Sia said it. He was raised by teachers because his parents were not there. He would see his parents once a year. Imagine that. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel like we're doing a huge disservice to our teachers. We're not appreciating the level of responsibility that is on the shoulders of our teachers, and it's not right at all. The system is broken and it needs to be fixed. It will start at home because that's where it started breaking. It's very hard because now teachers have to compete with what children learn from the streets, the external influences that they get from the streets. They have to compete with what children get from their peers, peer pressures. Teachers have to compete with what children learn from TV. Teachers have to compete with what children learn from this ever-increasing social media content that they consume on a day-to-day basis. How then should teachers be able to flourish in that kind of a system? What should they teach? Because today, look at this. All the information that a teacher can teach, you can easily find it on social media. You can find it on Google. You don't really need school if you think about it. Because all the information, I'm talking about all the information, you can get your degree in your house. You can study all that is to study in your house, behind your computer. So what is the role of teachers? That remains the question. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to just bring awareness to this issue as I wrote down on my notes. The role of teachers, ladies and gentlemen, it's not to teach. It's not fundamentally to teach life skills. It's not to teach morals. It's not to indoctrinate. The role of teachers is to teach, is to develop the intellectual part of a human being. Is to develop the ability to critically analyze and think in a person. So what they're fundamentally there to teach is to teach how to read. Reading skills are very important. Is to teach how to write, because writing goes hand in hand with thinking. When you are a good writer, I'm telling you, you are a very good thinker, because you can think outside of the box. Writing is the most important element to what your mind can fathom. So it's very important. Teachers are there to also help you speak. The element of speaking is what we should learn in school. What teachers are not there for is to compete with the learners. A lot of our teachers today, they're there to compete with the learners. So they are very, very committed into keeping their learners stupid so that the learners do not question them. We've got those teachers today that find they find it a challenge when students are challenging them with knowledge or things they find in the textbook. They question them about things that they find to be irrelevant in the textbook. They feel like it's an attack to them. Those are not the kind of teachers that we want to have in the system. Just like in everything else, like in the police department, you've got the good and the bad teachers and the good and the bad police. That's why the element of paying, the salary issue for teachers, I kind of understand why the teachers don't get paid a lot. I kind of understand that. This is me thinking. I believe teaching is not really a career that one can decide and pursue because of money. If you're there for the money, you're in the wrong career. Really, teaching, the reason why the salary of teachers is relatively average, it's because it's to test whether you are in it for the passion or you are in it for the money. And that is the ultimate test. What we see today, because of the lack of employment, we see a lot of people who are desperately looking for jobs. So they think they are going to just go into the teaching field because there's a lot of jobs and they just want to secure an income. You've got those people who are there for an income and not there for what the system is designed for, which is to impart knowledge and develop people. Those are the people that are not good for the system and the learners. Because the intention is not right. So we need teachers that are going to have passion for teaching and not for money. Money is one thing. You can't live without the money. It's a reward. But it's not the ultimate purpose. And that is why I'm thinking that is why the teaching career or the teaching industry doesn't pay as much. But not to say they shouldn't get paid. They should get paid because they do the most job. Look at them. They have how many responsibilities? Family, community, church, and their job. 4 jobs as one. They really need to be compensated. But not because they want money, because they are doing a very important service to the community. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this is a tough topic and I will not exhaust it in this one video, but I appreciate the question because it has made us start thinking about the possibilities that can come out of this. Teachers have a tough job, ladies and gentlemen. I don't wish to be a teacher, and I respect all the people who have volunteered to be teachers. They deserve all the kudos in the world. You teachers, we need you. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be speaking like this today. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here. If I knew what teaching was all about, I really wouldn't advise anybody to go into teaching. But I think that's a job that you guys have to keep because, I mean, you are capable. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this is it. And I don't feel like I have covered everything, but just because it's a very broad topic, I feel like we need to take it forward. And I welcome more questions in this regard. Ask your questions, guys. Let us deal with this issue because the education system will need us to stand up together and fight the brokenness of the education, because education is important. I can never overemphasize the power of education and the education system. One more thing before I leave. Ladies and gentlemen, teachers are there to help students find their identity. You are there to initiate the process of self-identity, self-discovery in a student, and hold them by the hand to help them find their niche in this big bubble where everything is just a confusion. Your job as a teacher is to hold the kid by the hand and go with them. It is not to push them. It's to hold them by the hand and go with them. And this comes with you helping them choose a career path that they want to choose, a career path that they are understanding. Teach them what is relevant to them. And one of the most fundamental skills or very important lesson to learn when it comes to teaching is that you need to teach what is relevant to the learner, because what we are learning as learners is not relevant to us. We don't find the need to engage in the learning process. Therefore, we cram, pass, and forget. I don't remember 90% of what I learned in school because I wasn't taught in a way that I thought it was relevant for me. So teachers need to learn the skill of identifying what is relevant for learners and helping them find themselves in the process. It's finished.